Right off the bat, IO Interactive establishes the core pillar of this game: pure infiltration and espionage, as we see Bond, a young agent on his first major assignment, moving through a sophisticated gala. This isn't about running and gunning, it's about observation. The narrator explicitly states the need to blend with crowds, scout for tactical options, and create mental maps of pathways. This is a signature IO Interactive social style that we know from Hitman, but with a distinct Bond twist. It seems more proactive. You're not just looking for a disguise, you're actively absorbing the atmosphere and the layouts. This foundational mechanic suggests that the level will be dense, multi-layer puzzles where information is your most valuable weapon.
If he doesn't make an appearance in the next 10 minutes, he can watch from down here.
And that leads us to the next key mechanics: environmental storytelling through dialogues. At the deep dive, emphasize listening to a conversation to find clues. This is brilliant. It turns every non-playable characters or NPC from a single obstacles into a potential asset or source of intel. It encourages players to slow down, to truly inhabit the role of a spy who is always listening, always processing. This could lead to discovering alternate routes, learning security codes, and uncovering side objectives, making the world feel like reactive and alive. True player freedom is the holy grail of modern game design, and 007 First Light appears to be championing this philosophy. At the developer's highlight, there are numerous ways to achieve your goals. We see Bond acquiring a stolen ticket, but it's implied he could have it just as easily impersonating a staff member or find another way entirely. This multiple pathways approach is crucial. It what separates a linear action game from a true spy simulation. It caters two different playstyles. Are you the charming Bond who talks his way through, the ghost who sleeps beyond seen, or the opportunist who creates a diversion? By providing these options, IO Interactive ensures high replayability. A single mission could be half a dozen different outcomes and routes, and that is incredibly exciting. Of course, it won't be a Bond without gadgets, and Q-Branch has delivered. The first and perhaps most fundamental gadget is the Bond's iconic watch. As we see, it's not just for telling time. Its function as a scanner, highlighting environmental interactions, distractions, and security vulnerabilities. This is fantastic. Diegetic way to implement a classic detective mode without breaking immersion. It's Bond's intellect and his tools working in perfect harmony.
Your Q gadgets are custom developed.
Then we get the heavy hitters. The gameplay reveals three distinct gadgets. First, the laser. It shows that have a dual use, a direct offensive beam or a tactical tool to exploit the environmental weak point. Imagine cutting the bolts of a heavy chandelier to create a trap. The possibilities are huge. Next, we got the smoke device. This is a classic stealth tool, perfect for confusing enemies to allow for a silent takedown or a quick escape. It's simple, effective, and must have way for any spy's arsenal. And finally, we got the dart phone. This is a fascinating gadget. It's for incapacitating targets you can bluff or charm. This implies that the dialogue system has a failed stages, and when your words don't work, you need a silent, non-lethal weapon. This reinforces the idea of that killing is the last resort, not the default.
Sometimes hard avoidable.
But what happens when stealth fails? Bond gets his license to kill. The combat system looks visceral and dynamic. The melee combat shown is a flurry of throw, parries, direct strike, and brutal environmental takedowns. It's not just a button smashing fest, it's about using your momentum and your surroundings. It looks fluid, reactive, and incredibly satisfying.
You'll need to think fast. A license to kill.
And when the moments come, the guns come out. The game fully embraces the action hero side of Bond. At the narrator state that when enemy shows lethal intent, Bond's license to kill is granted. The gunplay appears tight and responsive, with Bond using his signature pistol and even picking up enemy firearms. The footage also highlights that adversaries will have different levels of armor, requiring tactical thinking. You can't just spray and pray, you have to pick your shot and improvise. crucial to the combat system, integrates the other mechanics seamlessly. As we see in the environments can be turned into a weapon, and it confirms that stealth gadgets can be deployed in combat, disrupting attacks and creating offensive opportunity. This multi-layered approach means that even if a fight breaks out, you're still thinking like a spy. Finally, we have the mechanic called Bond's Instinct shown at. This appears to be a focus mode, like slowing down time to let you pinpoint weak spot or difficult target or environmental hazard. It's the final piece of the puzzle, representing Bond's sharp reflexes, deadly focus on the pressure. So, what's the better? Technically, 007 First Light looks like a masterful blend of IO Interactive sandbox expertise with the specific pillars of the James Bond's fantasy. The mechanics we see today point towards a game that offers deep player choices, reward intelligence and observations, and delivered explosive cinematic action when the situation demanded.
Just looking for the bathroom.
Let's start by acknowledging the elephant in the room. The Hitman DNA is absolutely present, and it's a good thing, actually. The social stealth sandbox is IO's signature dish. The gameplay shows Bond navigating a complex, multi-layered environments filled with NPCs, security zones, and opportunities. This is the Swiss cheese level design that made the Hitman game so brilliant, full of holes for the player to slip through. The emphasis is on scouting, on creating mental maps, and using the environment to your advantage is pure IO Interactive. They build incredible puzzle boxes, and they are clearly using that expertise here. So yes, if you love the core loop of exploring a level, identifying targets, and formulating a plan, you will feel right at home. But that's where the direct comparison starts to diverge.
He's prepared to get creative.
Here is the single biggest departure from Hitman, the protagonist itself. Agent 47 is a ghost. He's an anonymous, silent predator whose goal is to be forgotten the moment he leaves the room. James Bond is the exact opposite. He's the center of attention, he has charisma, charm, and a swagger. This fundamentally changed the gameplay. While 47 avoids conversation, Bond seems to thrive on it. The developers focused on listening to dialogues for clues and the existence of a dark gun, especially for people who can't be bluff or charm, implying a robust social and dialogue system. You're not just changing costumes. You're adopting personas, engaging in conversations, and using your wit as your primary tool. This is a social stealth game, not an anti-social one. Bond wants to be seen, but only as the person is want you to think it is. That's the huge difference. Now, think about combat in Hitman. With a few exceptions, a low firefight usually means that you are failed in a frantic, often clumsy scramble to survive. It is not a power fantasy. On the flip side, in 007 First Light, it's entirely different. The narrator explicitly said that when the situation turns deadly, Bond's license to kill is granted. Combat here is presented as a core pillar of the experience, not a failed state. The melee system looks polished, brutal, and cinematic. A far cry from 47's often clunky fit cut. The gunplay is fast, aggressive, and empowering. This is a game where getting into a massive shootout on an airplane is designed. Thrilling set pieces, not a mistake. IO Interactive is building a game that must be just as competent as a third-person shooter as it is in a stealth game. And that is a massive undertaking that separates it from his previous works.
To disrupt enemy attacks or provide.
The gadget philosophy is also different. 47 tools are often mundane items for murder. Screwdrivers, rat poison, maybe a lockpick. On its side, Bond's Q gadgets are fantastical, versatile, and often non-lethal. The laser smoke device and the dart phone shown in the trailer push you towards clever misdirection and silence incapacitation. A different flavor of puzzle solving than just finding your way cause an accident. Furthermore, Bond games demand a strong forward-driving narrative with explosive set pieces. The Hitman games are more of an anthology series. The inclusion of a high-speed car chase shows that IO Interactive is embracing the linear, cinematic blockbuster moments that are essentially to a Bond story. This pacing will likely be a significant departure from the more self-contained, patient loops of Hitman. So, is 007 First Light just a Hitman reskin? Absolutely not. While it's built on the rock-solid foundation of IO Interactive's incredible sandbox design, it's using those tools to build a completely different kind of house. A house built for charming, talkative, and legally competent spy, not a silent assassin. It's an evolution, a tailored experience that embraces the action, the charms, and narrative drive of James Bond. It's the right developer taking the right direction for their path to build something new. Now, after all this, I would like to know, what do you think? Do you see more Hitman or more Bond? Let me know in the comments. Also, don't forget to hit the subscribe, like, and the notification bell for everything gaming news, retro gaming, reviews, and everything just gaming. This is Jesus from Jesus Gaming signing out. Have a good one, health and success. And of course, happy gaming.